what brings one person pleasure may not be what brings another person pleasure. So if we're trying to create a moral system for a society, like whose experience of pleasure or pain should we prioritize? Does this make sense? Or another one would be this: are there some pleasures that are immoral to satisfy? So for example, some people are sadomasochists. Some people derive pleasure from inflicting suffering on other people. So now we have to say, well, there's a moral standard that we're going to impose on top of that, that we don't want to allow for people to derive pleasure from other people's suffering. But you see what we've done there is I thought that the teleological was the moral standard. The ends justify the means. Well, not all ends, not all means. So there's a problem. There's a problem with all of this. So some people, they don't like that. So they say, no, it's going to be the maximization, not of pleasure, but of happiness, and the minimization of unhappiness. That's the goal. But here we might ask this, like, is it always the case that what makes you happy is what is best? So is it good that we would set up whatever makes me happy, that's the moral standard that would govern a society? No, we can't do that. Some people today say, no, what we need more equity. So the so-called sort of diversity, equity, inclusion. So now our moral standard largely today in many places is whatever is good is that which maximizes diversity, equity, and inclusion. These three sort of sloganeering type of terms. I say sloganeering because they have no real definition that's solid that you can, because you might say, well, is diversity good? Again, depends. Is it good for us in our church to have some amount of diverse range of views on things? I would say yes. I'd say that very personally. Let me tell you what I don't want. I don't want a church full of yes people who always agree with me. I don't think that's good for my soul. So I would say a certain amount of diversity would be good. But at the same time, is it not true that there are some viewpoints or priorities or values that we do not want included in our group? And everyone thinks that. Like, there's this thing in our culture today where it's like, well, everyone has to have a seat at the table. It's like, everyone? Are there not any people that you could think, I really actually don't want them to have a seat at the table weighing in according to their list of values and priorities? Again, the sadomasochist. I don't want that person having an equal say in how a church ought to be governed as, say, me, frankly. Like, I don't want people who have an actually twisted sense of what is good and right and helpful to have. So all that say, diversity. Is diversity always an unmitigated good? Absolutely not. So should we set diversity up as the thing that we pursue, the goal for all of us, the purpose for which we toil, and the purpose that we subjugate all of our moral thinking to? No. We can't do that with anything.